Hey, welcome to 8th grade social studies 7-minute mastery series. Today we're going to be talking about the colonies. Let's get started. There were 13 original British colonies at the time of the American Revolution. These colonies had charters from Great Britain, were under British rule, and had their own representative self-governments. The first colony was Virginia, where the first permanent British settlement of Jamestown was located. The colonies were formed for various reasons by individuals and groups that formed them, but they were permitted by the British government essentially for the growth of the British Empire and for financial gain. So it's important to note each one of these colonies is different. They were formed with charters or approval from the British government. These people here in these colonies were British citizens, but yet they were American colonists or British colonists. It doesn't matter how you say it, they're the same people. They had representative governments, each unique for each unique colony. But remember, the British Empire and other empires of the day were allowing colonies or were encouraging colonists to grow in these Americas because they wanted to grow their British Empire, right? All right, let's talk about the three different types of colonies. You have the New England colonies, which is the further north of the colonies. You can see on the map there. They include New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. You don't have to memorize each one, but it's just good to have an idea of which ones and where they are of the colonies. These colonies were often founded for religious reasons, the ones in the north, the New England colonies especially. You had the Puritans, you had the Separatists, which were the Pilgrims, and then eventually you had some offshoots of those Puritans from Massachusetts. You had groups like Rhode Island and Connecticut, again, for religious freedom was their foundation. They had colder climate, rocky soil, and they had fast-flowing rivers, deep harbors, good for shipping, good for lumber, good for fishing. But the cold climate didn't really help very much because of their cold and rocky soil. It wasn't very good for farming. So just good to note the differences there between New England and these middle colonies, which was New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. You can see on the map again. The middle colonies had a middle or moderate climate. They had fertile soil, good growing soil, with lots of wheat and corn is what they grew here. But more often, these were local or smaller farmers rather than the large plantations we find in the South. In the middle colonies, you had a mix of kind of North and South. They were very middle in many ways. You had large cities like New York and Philadelphia, but you also had a lot of small farming communities. There was a lot of trading and merchants in these middle colonies as well. There's a lot of diversity in the middle colonies, different peoples, groups, religions, agriculture, population sizes, and lifestyle. The middle colonies, like I said, truly were middle. They were between New England and southern colonies, geographically and metaphorically. All right, the southern colonies. These included colonies like Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. They had a warmer climate because they're further south, and with this warmer climate, they had a longer growing season, which meant they were able to grow crops more abundantly, and eventually cash crops were grown. Cash crops were just things that you grow and you make money from. You get cash for the crops, right? The first and foremost was tobacco. Then you have rice, indigo, and eventually cotton became king in the South. So with these cash crops came slavery. Slavery was a much larger part of Southern culture because the vast amount of land owned in cash crop plantations incentivized the ownership of slavery, largely in the tobacco fields originally and then eventually cotton. All right, so all these colonies were in America and all of these colonies were British, but all were very unique and prided themselves on being their own individual colonies with their own self-governments. You might be a New Yorker, you might be a Carolinian, you might be a Virginian. You are unique and you have your own self-government. Yes, you're subject to the king, but you're a unique colony and they have unique colonists in each colony doing unique different things. The colonists all had their individual reasons for being there, but the British government wanted the colonial land as a way to expand their empire, gain wealth, property, goods, and influence. The British government had their motives, grow our empire. The colonists had their individual motives, maybe personal wealth, maybe religious freedom, maybe adventure and a new opportunity, right? But either way, everyone had different motives here. Jamestown, just to remind us here, was the first permanent British settlement in the New World. And with Jamestown, you had the Virginia House of Burgesses, which is the first colonial government. Jamestown was founded in the pursuit of gold. They didn't really find gold, but tobacco became their wealth. And then Pilgrims at Plymouth, they were founded up in Massachusetts area. They were established for religious freedom. All right, let's get to some practice questions. Okay, with these practice questions, as always, I'm going to move fast. You need to have your hand on your mouse or on your keyboard. Be ready to press pause because after I read the question, I'm going to go straight to the answer. I want you to press pause, come up with your own answer, and then press play and find out what the answer is. You do your part, I'm going to do my part. Here we go. Primary motives for the European exploration of the Americas. So why did they explore in the Americas? To increase wealth, blank, and to spread Christianity. Which motive best completes this diagram? Press pause. Here's the answer. To expand empires. We just went over that. These European powers wanted to expand their empire, right? All right, next question. Industries of the New England colonies. Shipbuilding, fishing, fur trapping and trading, lumber milling. Which physical characteristics made these economic activities possible? Press pause. Here's the answer. Dense forest, natural harbors, and swift rivers. All physical characteristics of New England that allowed for these industries to take place. Reasons for European exploration. Again, similar question to what we just had. To find new sea routes to India and China. That's what Columbus was looking for, by the way. To find gold, silver, and other treasure. That's kind of what all conquistadors and early explorers were looking for, too. And then blank. Which reason best completes this list? Press pause. Here's your answer. To claim new territory, right? To grow the empire, to gain new lands. Question number 4, characteristics of American colonies. I'm not going to read this whole chart. Which characteristic is correctly matched with the number in the table? You press pause. Here's your answer. Moderate. So let's look at that. Number 2, that's the middle colonies, rich farmland, moderate climate, and they had livestock, right? That makes sense for the middle colonies. Remember I said middle, moderate climate? All right, here we go. Which statement accurately describes the reasons for establishing Plymouth and Jamestown? You press pause. Here's your answer. Plymouth was founded as a refuge from religious persecution, while Jamestown was founded for commercial profit. All right, guys, I know we went fast. That's how these videos go. Press pause. Take notes, use your study packet, rewatch the video 17 times if you need to. Do what you need to do to prepare yourself and feel good about your studying. All right, if you have any other questions, let me know. In the meantime, make sure you go and watch the other videos. That's all. Thanks, guys. Bye.